Sorry about that. Okay, so this is a couple situations, right, and that we've seen. So the buyer has a financing condition. The buyer's agent says things look good, and hey, everything's going to be good. We'll send over the paperwork soon. And then somehow later that day, it's flip flops and says, "Oh, turns out we don't have financing." They ask for a decline letter, like, "Hey, show something that you prove that you actually went to the bank," and they refuse. So this is, you probably all have been in these situations, maybe, but so what happens now, right? Essentially, depending on the situation, depending on your conversation with the agent, you might, it doesn't pass the smell test, right? You might smell something is up, and that's why you ask for a decline letter sometimes, to prove that they actually went and exercised reasonable effort. That is what your contract, your offer to purchase states in there, is that the person responsible for the fulfillment of a condition must exercise reasonable effort. Right. So that is like, what is reasonable? Now, this is what is the hard part about the law in these situations, is the word reasonable, right? What's reasonable, what's not, right? And this is where there's some things that are a matter of interpretation, right? So that's where if somebody's refusing to provide a decline letter, that usually just creates a bit of it's not an automatic, the seller keeps a deposit, okay? It's just, it causes a little bit of that suspicion to go up, and you're going to want some further proof before a deposit is actually released. One of the other things about this, that just in case you don't know, is the sellers, usually are required to sign a deposit release, right? Which is obviously the best way of doing it. However, if a seller is just refusing to sign it because they're upset that, hey, they didn't get financing, and it's truly their decline, and the buyers and the sellers are mad and they refuse to sign it, which has happened, the listing brokerage is allowed to just release the deposit, and they're actually mandated to do so if the facts are not in dispute. So if there's something that doesn't smell right, this is first thing is always talk to your broker, let me know what's going on, and we can start investigating a little bit to see if there really was a reasonable effort. In this case, this is an active ongoing a case right now, but that is, we're working on it, and the lawyers are talking to each other, and I've had discussions with the other brokers. Well, what more do you want? They went there and they couldn't get it. It didn't work out. So, well, what does that mean, work out? Right. So I want a little bit more before, sometimes it's just a matter of making people sweat. But anyways, that's one exactly. Is it reasonable? Is it not? It's tough to say, and it's tough to prove reasonable either way. Similar, you might have had something like this. Buyer gets a home inspection. The buyer brings, their cousin through the home inspection. They leave in 10 minutes, right? Maybe you're there with them, and this guy that walks through, and he doesn't know anything about, he doesn't even know how to paint a wall, let alone what a house is about. The buyer backs out to do the home inspection condition. So what happens here, right? And this is, again, I wish I could tell you exactly cut and dry, black and white, what happens, but nothing is ever black and white when it comes to the law. But one of the significant argument, I say, on the buyer's side, defending the buyer in this case, would be, well, the home inspection condition is worded that they can bring an inspector of their choosing, right? And this home inspection has to be to their satisfaction. And we know that leaves a huge way out of it, because they can walk through and say, I'm not satisfied. The question here really becomes about good faith and whether or not this cousin is qualified to be an inspector, even though it's an inspector of their choosing, right? So that is where the buyers have a really strong case to say, well, I brought my inspector through. My inspector was my cousin, but I wasn't satisfied. The seller, however, the listing side, would have, I think, a reasonable case as well to talk about good faith, that you brought an inspector who's not qualified and couldn't actually perform an inspection. It's kind of, you'd use the defense of this was not operating in good faith. You didn't actually mean to do this. You didn't actually, again, use reasonable effort. I don't think that's reasonable. But again, there's a conversation, a debate, and a war that will wage on. This one did happen, but essentially in this one, it was a smaller deposit, and the seller just said, when am I going to go sue this person for $2,000, whatever it is? So another offer came in, they let him walk, or they return the deposit back to the first one. So there's all these moving parts, and that's why I can't give you cut and dry. But what the bottom line is, and what I want you to really just keep in mind when you're talking to parties with your client, is they need to understand this. And this is one that happened where we had a buyer and they were backing out, but they were truly just changing their mind, right? They actually were just changing, but they didn't want the house anymore. They found something better. They didn't want the house, and they were using this financing condition. And unfortunately, the agent let on a little bit more than he should, and kind of told them, well, yeah, they're just kind of changing their mind and looking at, I didn't say change their mind, but they said they're looking at other options, et cetera. And so the listing brokerage had a, had a case to potentially keep the deposit. So you have to make sure you remember that when you're counseling your buyers and they're writing multiple offers and they have a financing condition, make sure they understand this is not a change of mind clause. This is not a change of mind clause. And if financing, isn't approved, most people will require a letter. So if you go through and you just want to change your mind and say, I'll use my financing condition to get out of the deal, which is what a lot of buyers think, it may not be so easy. And we have definitely successfully kept deposits. We've successfully won those type of litigations from buyers who are backing out illegitimately. Yes, and so there's a Q&A. Buy inspector can be anyone, even buyer's dad. Yes, that is definitely true. That's what I pointed out. One of them is inspector chosen by the buyer. There's an argument to be made, though, for if it's really whipped through 5 minutes, something's fishy. Again, an argument can be made. It's not a great argument, but it can still be made. In those cases, I'll just talk about, if you are in that home inspection condition and you want to bring dad through, okay, fine. But I would definitely do a little bit better of a sell job than walking through in 5 minutes and going, nope, I don't like it, and leaving, especially if the listing agent is there. So you want to cover your tracks, because again, it's not about whether you're going to win in court or whether you're going to win an argument. It's about avoiding one. Right? They would all say how many times you've had conversations or arguments or disputes or claims that have taken up much of your energy, robbed you of your sleep, which actually is going to affect you on your next sales. Right? So even though you might win in court and you might, it's like you're on the right side of the fence, the whole point is to avoid the war to begin with. Right? And so some of these things help avoid the war. So again, quickly, bottom line, if you suspect that there's any kind of bad faith going on, again, contact us, whether myself, Liz, or Elliot. And again, just make sure your clients on both sides of it understand what good reasonable effort means and the consequences of potentially not using reasonable effort. All right. Pardon me. Your 2022 starts now. And what that means is, this, real estate is a long game, right? Real estate is not a fast game. You're not selling jeans, you're not selling coffee, you're not selling a commodity, right? You're selling people's homes, and they have their families in their homes, and nobody wakes up in the morning, decides to move, right? Like, that's it, I want out of here, house isn't big enough, I'm putting the house up today, right? That really does not happen. Maybe in extreme situations or extreme examples, you can find somebody, okay, sure, maybe somebody does, maybe it's through a divorce or a death and they got to sell it relatively quickly. Maybe that's the case, but in general, not. It's a long sales cycle, right? Real estate has a slow sales cycle. So what that means is that what you do today is going to show up in the future. And it typically in real estate is going to be 3 to 6 months, right? Now, again, you might, hey, well, what if I call Kijiji and I flip a FISBO? Yeah, of course, all that. But any of your farming activities, your relationship building, the advertising, the marketing that you do, generally speaking, our activity today, if you're busy today, you're going to see the results in 3 to 6 months. That's just generally how we talk about in real estate. Even on online leads, as an example, if you're big into online leads, research shows us that typically an online lead or an online buyer is about 9 to 18 months away from actually pulling the trigger, right? Because that's what happens to people, right? They consider, maybe I should sell. And then they go on some websites and they look around and maybe what's my house is worth. That's a natural starting point. And so they'll click on those things and they'll maybe, click on the free evaluations or go on your website and look at some listings, right? Because they're just thinking about it, starting the process. So what we need to do is we focus on today. Your 22 starts now because that's 60 days away, right? So if you want to have a good first quarter, and you want to avoid, this is what I call the January freak out, right? This is, I can't tell you how many realtors I've sat down with and they panic in January because guess where they're at? 0. Everyone's at 0 in January, right? The board resets, everything kind of resets mentally, even though it's not really true, nothing really does reset, but nonetheless, they start panicking in January. Where's the business going to come from? What am I going to do? I'm never going to sell another house again. Right, the sky's falling in. And I've talked to my dad about this for years, and he always, every January it's the same thing. People, they panic, right? Because there's nothing in the hopper. So we want to avoid the panic, right? So give me the pep talk now to help you avoid the panic and you don't hyperventilate in January. So the first thing you need to do, if you are listening to this, your job, number one thing to do is right now in this winter season, we're into basically November and December here, fill the pipeline. You need to get as many leads, as many junky leads. I don't care what they are. You need as many possible leads, names, phone numbers, people sniffing about real estate as possible. You need to fill the pipeline right now. That is your job every day. Fill the pipeline. Okay. So I'm going to talk about some ways, some ideas on how you can do that. Now, the other thing to remember is be patient with these. Some of these lead ideas, again, might show up down the road, but you need to start having this stuff. You need to start doing these things if you haven't done already. So number one, Christmas, right? The holiday season is around the corner. Leverage Christmas. It's the biggest holiday. It's the biggest holiday of the year, right? So we have to leverage this stuff, and it's all about people getting together. So number one, if you haven't had Christmas Popeyes scheduled yet, definitely book those in now because you're already too late, right? You're already behind the 8 ball when it comes to ordering and planning these things out. So schedule definitely Christmas Popeyes. I think we've had a lot of talk about Popeyes lately, but these things are pure gold. If you don't know what Popeye is, it's popping by somebody's house for a couple of minutes with a gift, and you give them a gift of some kind. You say, thank you for your business, and you have a little chit chat, you talk to them, but it's a Popeye. It shows people that you're taking time out of your day to visit them, right? Video greetings are another great one, right? If you want to save some time or you can't pop by, if you have a big database, you can't pop by 500 people, right? Everyone else can get a little Christmas video greeting. You can do gingerbread house contests, right? Shelter fundraisers or toy drives are also huge, right? Get some more community involved, and it's Christmas is a time of giving, so make sure you leverage that. And sticky mail, also known as lumpy mail, I've used in the past. What sticky mail is, I'll show you some examples, are things that can actually stick around, right? When you send them a free evaluation coupon or a flyer, what happens, right? It's in the garbage, right? If you're sending your clients, your market update, they're going to go look at it and go, oh, that's a nice little market update. And then it's going to go in the garbage, right? So it's nice they're reminded of you, and then they throw it in the garbage. Can you get something that actually sticks around a little bit? So I know there's agents who do calendars and the calendars and the pictures of the front of the house and all that kind of stuff. Those are cool. But some other ways you can do it to your database are things like this. Now, yes, if you look really closely, these are super old, but I've had these things. That's just how old they are. When I was first taught this myself. So as an example, Thanksgiving is past, but you can send a coupon and say, hey, this coupon is good for one pie or whatever it is, or good for a wreath if you don't want to do Popeyes, whatever it is. And you can go down there, and the key thing is it says it's valid between these two dates. Go down there and pick up your free pie from Farm Boy. And what's cool about this in this example is if it's valid from October 3rd to October 13th, when do you send this out? You send it out in September, right? In mid-September, early September. That way, what do they do with it? They're not throwing that in the garbage. They are sticking it on their walls, sticking it on their bulletin board, sticking it on their fridge or whatever. That's why, hence the sticky mail. They are sticking it somewhere. And now they get to see your wonderful logo, your wonderful face for the next 6 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is until they can collect their wonderful pie, right? Just as an example. So this one did movie tickets, similar thing. Hey, you're on the house. They did movie tickets to Spider-Man 2. That shows you how old this is, but nonetheless, the concept still applies. And you can send this out ahead of time. You can see the event is on May 3rd. They said RSVP by April 18th, which means now they've had this thing and it's going to stick on their fridge, on their wall, whatever it is, for a few number of weeks, and they're going to see it more than they're going to see your newsletter because you're going to keep these things around, right? And all very good. If you want to save costs on these, partner with your local mortgage rep or insurance rep or whoever, lawyer, etc., to save some costs on these for those ideas. That's what we call sticky mail. Okay, get some leads in there. Other ideas. Again, we know about this one a lot, but how much is your homework? This is the turn of the year, right? It's a new year. It definitely take advantage of the fact that people are resetting in their minds, right? What happens every January? New goals, and they have their New Year's resolutions. So take advantage of the fact that people are resetting in their mind a little bit. And when we're ending a year, that's going to be a natural question: is, hey, would you like an updated home evaluation? So, in my opinion, what I would be doing is unsolicited CMAs. Okay, so this means you're not asking for it. Do you want a home evaluation? Just send them a bloody evaluation. And I would, I'd recommend, for me, I just like this stuff, but I would use video And I've talked about it before, but I would go on to BombBomb or whatever it is. You can use it through RLP Sphere, and I'd make a quick little video, 2 minutes, have a couple slides ready, or have your screen sharing ready so you can go through Matrix and quickly talk about their market, right? Hey, just letting you know, Bob and Susan, hope you're having a great holiday season. Just want to give you a quick little market update as we're approaching the end of the year in River Heights. The market has gone up by 14.25% average sale price. And I know you have a 2-story, so specifically the 2 stories have actually increased by more than that. And it's actually up at 19.5%. Activities done here. There's this many expired listings. You do a quick little market recap. And you say, of course, at the end, if you want to get a more accurate evaluation, please contact me. I'd be happy to help. Something like that. Hope you're doing well. Take care. God bless. Right. So you want to send the video with the brief neighborhood update. If it was me again, I was doing it, I would say, if you go down below and click the link, and I'd use the app like, the website called Calendly. That's what I use. And you can say, you know what, anytime you want to get a more accurate evaluation, click the link below and schedule in a no obligation 15-minute quick virtual evaluation of your home. All we're going to do is we're going to talk quickly a little bit about the home. Maybe you can turn the camera, show me around a little bit. Don't worry, we can do this, in our sweatpants. That's the beauty of it. It'll take 15 minutes and I can give you some more accurate information about the value of your home. Right? All of this so far is free, right? Target those in homes for around 3 to 5 years first. That's where I would start. Why 3 to 5 years? I can like you yelling across the screen because it's renewal time, right? Typically, if they've been in their home that long, that's when they're going to be renewing, right? They took out a 3, 4, or 5 year mortgage term, which means renewals are coming up. When renewals come up, what else comes up? Should I renew or should I move? What's the value of my house? What are interest rates going to do? It's just a natural time where people start thinking about their home because they have to make the decision, right? If you're going to do the print and the physical version of a CMA, I make it awesome, make it beautiful, pay the extra money, have it look amazing. Think of a coffee table. If you're sending them an unsolicited CMA, hey, Bob and Susan, and you're dropping it off, or you're couriering it, or you're mailing it, or maybe you are dropping it off, just wanted to give you this wonderful little gift. It's an updated valuation on the market, right? So you just have your slides and a few different pages, and the value of their home, and and price range, whatever it is, how you do your valuation. But make it look beautiful, make it look like a magazine quality, have it bound or whatever it is. If it's so nice, where are they going to keep it? They're going to put it on the coffee table. They're going to actually keep it around because it's a nice little marketing piece, and maybe it has pictures of their homes or whatever. Maybe it's got information about their neighborhood, about the local restaurants, right? And oh man, this is really nice. And they're going to leave it on their bloody coffee table, as opposed to if you hook it and you staple it together, they're going to say, oh, cool, nice. My home is worth that much. Great. And it's going to flop down in the garbage, or it's going to go into some ridiculous junk drawer. Right? I think I had, how many junk drawers, Joey? I think we had like 6 junk drawers, right? So it's going to go in one of those drawers. If it's beautiful, if it's nice, it's going to sit on a coffee table. And that's what people are going to talk about, because guess who's coming over at Christmas? Everyone. What is everyone going to see? Your beautiful valuation. All right. So we're still on the lead generation or on the filling the pipeline, right? And just remember, with all this stuff, like, you want to get a sniff of anything. Like, if there's anybody who breathes about this stuff, yeah, I might like that evaluation, but my neighbor really would. Great. You're just trying to get as many leads as possible, as many names as possible, right? The other way of doing it, again, digging for gold. We've talked about this before with Andrew Fogliato. Email all your past leads, your old CMAs, open house attendees. You have tons of old crap laying around. Reach out to them, use the 9-word email. Hi, are you still looking to buy or sell a home, depending if they're buyers or sellers and how that lead came about, right? Just reach out to them. And maybe it's a yes. I can't remember who did it, sorry, but they sent out the 9-word email after that sales meeting we did with Andrew Fogliato, and like 2 leads came of it right there, right? So just get as many as you can. They're already sitting around dead, so you may as well try to liven them up. So your database, if you're not doing some of the other ones, again, maybe these are for the database, the C's in the group or anything like that. Maybe you want to reach out and just ask for what are your plans for your home in 2022. If an updated valuation can help, just fill out this form. Maybe have a quick little Google form link, right? And it says, I'd love to send you a quick no obligation home evaluation, or you can use the booking in on the Calendly. But if you use a quick little form, what's the form? How big is your house? Where is it? How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, any upgrades? Create a little form, and they can just hopefully click on it, and you can get, again, some leads out of it. There's a great training on all this. It's you got $100,000 in your drawer. right? You got $100,000 on a sticky note on the bottom of your floor, or the bottom of your desk, or in your drawer, whatever it is, on sticky notes, on open house sign-in sheets, on your matrix, right? You can probably go through your matrix and all your old auto emails and be like, who the hell are these people, right? Look at your phone. There's all kinds of different, there's just money laying around everywhere. You just got to pick up the bloody phone or pick up the email, contact all of these old dead leads, dig for gold because they're there. Open houses, not going to talk about these too much other than we just had some coaching meetings and I talked about open houses briefly with some people. They're doing them and there's like 30, 40 people coming through. Leads are getting collected. They're not dead. They're not going away. Great way of getting leads and getting business still today, even with COVID and all the stuff going on, even the winter is coming in. Open houses are busy. Do them. Then you want to look at potentially some lead magnets and some downloadables, just ways again of getting as many names as possible, filling that pipeline, giving you something to do over the winter, right? So lead magnets and download content. There's so many easy things you can quickly do here. You know, it can create what you need to do to prepare your home for a winter sale or a spring sale, whatever you want to do, right? Top 5 reasons why buying a home now is a great idea. Wait, why I'll wait till spring to sell isn't always best. Might be a good one that people can click on, right? So you just have to essentially create these little blog posts or create these little articles, and then, you know, have people give them your email address to download them, right? That's what you can use social media for, your business pages and all that stuff. You can do some sponsored ads, put it on Google ads, all that kind of stuff. But these are just, it takes you a few minutes to write some of these. You can look online and get a whole bunch of different ideas. I'm sure there probably already are some out there, but the whole idea of creating these lead magnets and downloads is that somebody says, ooh, that's interesting. I want to know about that. They click on it, you give them they have to give you an email address to be able to download your little wonderful package, and you get a name and an email address, or a name, an email, and phone number. Now you have that lead, right? Because again, that lead, if they're clicking on that, they're not a buyer today or a seller today, but it's down the road. That's what you're trying to create, right? Fill the pipe. All right. Above all, patience is key on these. If you are using some of these activities and expecting like instant business today, that's not the idea here. These are ideas that are going to get you names, that are going to get you emails, they're going to get you contact information that you are going to put in your database and you're going to continue to nurture, right? So this is it's not just a waiting game, but you have to expect these things with patience. Okay, if it's like, oh man, I did all these pop buys and I didn't get any, nobody gave me a referral to somebody who wants to sell their house today. It's unlikely not going to happen, or it's unlikely to happen. Sorry. What it's going to do though is it's going to keep you top of mind. It's going to keep you, you know, having that mind share over the next couple of months. And when they go to work, when they talk to their friends, it's going to keep you top of mind for those referrals that are coming in. And that pop buy, sometimes they do show up with instant business, but a lot of times that referral, that business is going to show up in 3 to 6 months, right? And you're going to be glad you did that pop buy. And you know, I wonder, I didn't know if it was exactly the pop buy that did it, but you'll start connecting the dots and say, well, I didn't talk to Bob at all over the last 3 months, except for that pop buy. Right? It's effective. So anyways, be patient with this stuff. And you want to fill the pipeline. I would be ravenous, relentless about filling that pipeline right now. You're going to feel a lot better in January when you got names people actually contact. Okay. So the second thing I would do after I fill my pipeline, I'd get organized. This is a great time. You know, we've been working like bandits for the last, 18 months, 2 years. I love the winter months to slowly kind of clean up, do some house cleaning and get organized, right? So ways I would do that, close the loops and finish unfinished projects. I'm sure all of you have unfinished projects or a wish list or things that you started that you just really never got to around to finishing. So close the loops, batten down the hatches and close some of the loops and finish off some unfinished projects. Clean up your desk, clean up your car, clean up your office. You're going to feel so much better. Thank you, Cassandra, very much for keeping my office nice and tidy, because it really is nicer to walk into when it's clean. Clean up your inbox, your email inbox. Mine is horrible, and I'm going through and trying to unsubscribe from different things every day because there's just so much clutter, so much garbage. Clean up your inbox, delete some stuff, unsubscribe from everything that you possibly can, unless it's actually really good. And once you unsubscribe from something, if you want it that bad again, you'll just resubscribe, right? So I would just unsubscribe from as many things as you possibly can and clean up your life, clean up your inbox, right? And your social media, right? Same thing. You'll thank me later. Going through some people and be like, do I really need this person around? Is it a big deal to have this many friends or this many followers? Who can I get rid of here that's actually maybe causing me some stress or just annoying to listen to, or really not lining up with my values? Get rid of them, right? So clean up your social media as well when it comes to some getting organized. On the organization train as well, we want to beef up your database, right? This is the time over the next couple of months, the next 60 days, add all the leads and contacts from all those sticky notes we were just talking about, and your open house sheets that are stuck to the bottom of your car floor, and your matrix you don't know. Go through these things and start adding people to your database, of course, into your CRM, and clean it up, right? Update your addresses, your phone numbers, make notes about the people, because you probably haven't done it for a couple of months, right? Anybody behind on database work? I know I am, right? And delete, again, people who shouldn't be there, right? Then the next thing I would do as far as organization, I would complete the Q1 marketing plan, okay? So what's in the bottom right-hand corner, that's right on your business planning as an example, if you attended the business planning session last week. But what a time to do is now is to actually do some of the work and be specific, right? So for instance, picking on the Popeyes again, if your plan was, in this example, Christmas Popeye, okay, great. Well, what do you need to do? You need to figure out what the hell you're popping by with, right? And then you need to actually order the stuff, right? So if you're doing birthday cards, I want to do birthday cards next year. Guess what? You have to go buy 500 birthday cards. So get on your Amazon right now and start ordering all of the things so you can get stocked with this stuff, right? And again, give an estimate to the budget. The big thing here, though, with your Q1 marketing plan is whatever you're planning on doing, just get specific with it and actually plan it out, right? I'm going to send a market update. Well, what's the market update going to entail? Build your slides now, build your video now. Yes, the stats still need to come out, but build what you need to build out of it and then slide the stats in when the stats get released, right? If it's birthday cards, order them. If it's a party, you definitely have to start planning, pick venues and all those kind of details. It's time to get specific and really have a Q1 marketing plan that is specific, it's laid out, and you got a budget behind it. Okay? Another thing I'd say with this is reward yourself. If you're doing all this wonderful work and you have this plan, schedule in a vacation, schedule in a time off or a golfing or a spa day, whatever it is, plan something in that Q1 that's going to reward yourself, right? That because work expands the time allotted, right? If you give yourself 2 months to do something, it's going to take you 2 months to do it. But if you plan that vacation, you plan that time off, or you plan that reward in there, you're actually going to do it quicker because you know what it's like before you go on vacation, right? You get everything possibly done before you leave on vacation. So I would reward myself. I'd have a built-in reward there while I'm doing my Q1. I'd be planning in my holidays, planning in my trips, make sure I get some of this stuff done and planned out. And I'm going to take my vacation, right? Or my spa day, whatever you need to do. Part number 3, over the next 60 days, master your skills. Now, it's impossible to master all of the skills required to do this job in 60 days, right? It's impossible to master any skill in 60 days. But what skill specifically do you need to work on? What skill right now do you feel like you're lacking? What one drives you crazy? Is there a question that drives you crazy? Is there something that you don't know enough about that just really irks you? And you're like, damn, I don't want them to ask me that question again. Maybe you need to beef up your negotiation skills. Maybe you need to sharpen your price points. Maybe you need to sharpen up your objection handling when somebody wants you to lower your commission. Or maybe it's, you know what, I really don't know enough about home construction and new builds, and I really don't know what's going on that way. I don't really know about these neighborhoods. Whatever it is, that's really, if there's something where you're lacking, master it, right? Solve that problem, solve that skill, get skilled. If there's something you're really good at as well, double down on those efforts. Like, man, I'm really killing it on social media. Great, double down on it, get even better on it, right? So I would say double down on your skills, on the ones where you're strong, right? And you want to work on those weaknesses as well. But maybe identify 1, 2, 3, maybe some skills that you really need to work on over the next 60 days. That's going to set you up for 2022. Okay. So if you want to have a great start to the year and you do not want to be hyperventilating into a bag, quick recap here. In the next 60 days, be relentless at filling your pipeline. Be patient with it and take everything you possibly can. Every name, every address, every phone number, whatever it is, goes into your CRM because you're going to be working that database. You're going to be working those leads over the next couple of months, right? Because you want to make sure that you're ready for that busy spring. Number 2, you got to get organized. Great time to do it while things typically slow down. Number 3, master those skills. Become world-class at something, right? No one pays for a jack of all trades. People pay for specialists. There's an ancient proverb that says, your skill will bring you before kings. Your skill will bring you before kings. So master those skills, keep working on them, keep getting better. And in those next 60 days, you are going to be set up for one hell of amazing 2022. All right. If anybody has any questions or comments, happy to look into the chat or in the Q&A. And if not, then we're all done here today. So thank you very much for tuning in. Seeing no questions, I will end the meeting. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day. And a quick reminder again to RSVP to the Christmas party. Click the link in the agenda and RSVP. Thank you so much. Have a great day.